Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Shell's Closet. If this is your first time here, I truly appreciate you stopping by. Um, y'all know me, got some last minute things. Don't worry, because October, I am trying to have all of this laid out in decent fashion, so I won't have to do it after. Um, I want to give my disclaimer. If you are here and you appear on the screen, you are giving me permission to broadcast your face, your name, your likeness. If you come onto the live, you are giving me permission to broadcast you on my channel. Um, this is a safe space. Whatever you say here will be here. It's judgment free zone. Um, I don't take what you say after this and do anything with it. I just leave it here. And the views and opinions that are expressed that comes from this thing right here are my views and my opinions. And everyone who speaks here, those are their views and their opinions. You are entitled to agree or disagree or agree to disagree, whatever you feel is best. But we do not tolerate hate. We do not tolerate rudeness. We do not tolerate disrespect from anyone. So, tonight's topic is mental health. And I know everyone says mental health and people think um just like bipolar or paranoid schizophrenic or just those things, but I wanted to even come more to like probably where we are right now. I'm saying we because I never want to exclude myself to make anyone feel, because I know people always have that you feel that you're better. We're going to talk about that tonight too. But I'm going to talk about depression and anxiety and just the way you were brought up or the way that we were brought up. The things that we experienced while we were brought up and how we're going to talk about coping mechanisms. We're going to talk about pretty much everything, and I'm doing this mainly because the rest of this year we're going to talk, or me and you and I, we're going to talk about how to heal, how to reverse coping mechanisms or change coping mechanisms, and just completely be free from our past, completely be free from the things that hurt us, or free from hurt. Well, I can't say free from hurt because as long as you're alive, you will be experience hurt, laughter, joy, anger. But you will learn how to um better cope with things. That's the only thing I could think of right now. I am not a medical professional. I am just speaking from my own personal experience. And I am sharing that with you. I'm not telling you to do anything but look at your life and determine whether or not it's time for you to change or you need to do something different. That's all. I'm here to be the little, hey, you probably already got that voice in the back of your head that's like, hey, you probably need to stop that. And hopefully something I say tonight like kicks that in overdrive and be like, hey, you know what? I need to change or I need to do something different. That's it. That's where I'm at. I'm sorry, I gotta take my elderberry vitamin. Um, I just realized that Saturday Night Vibes did not upload to YouTube. It uploaded to Twitch, but it didn't upload to YouTube. So I'm gonna go over and download it from over there and put it up on YouTube. I'm going to have um the poll so you guys can vote. I'll have that up probably after this. Not probably, I'll have it up after this. I actually sat down and wrote out, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I wrote out All of the Saturdays for Wednesday. I mean Saturday for Wednesday. I wrote down all of the days for all of the songs. Let me slow down. I wrote down songs for each of the remaining Saturdays in 2021 because like I said, in October, November, December, it's the last quarter of the year and I want to end up here. You can't even see it because it's up there. That's where I want to end 2021 going into 2022. I have so many things happening for me and I'm just grateful. And I want not just me to be good, I want you to be good as also. And I hope that y'all are able to hear me after everything I just said. Because sometimes, the computer can be playing games with me. But I hope y'all can hear me. So again, tonight's topic is mental health. And we're not just gonna talk so much about like bipolar, PTSD. We're not just going to talk about those things. We're going to talk about everything. Like, how have you been coping with since the shutdown, after the shutdown, all these different viruses, all these different variants, all of this? Like, how have you been dealing? That's what I want to talk about. Hello, King's Love. Thank you. That's what I want to talk about because what I've come to realize, I'm surrounded by people who truly, truly love me. Like, when I say this last experience that I share with y'all, that was scary for me. Like, it's not easy to scare me. It's not. But that scared me. And it scared me not because I thought I was going to die, cuz I was all of my affairs are in order. I'm good. But it scared me cuz it was just like how I was good one minute and the next minute I was just like, "Ooh, I could have died." But it made me think like, have you said everything you wanted to say? Have you done everything you wanted to do? Have you set boundaries? Like, it was so many different things that was going through my mind. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna come into my YouTube and I'm gonna talk about it because I talk about everything with y'all. I mean, if you haven't figured it out by now, I like to talk. I'm not holding anything in. Oh, I forgot to give this disclaimer also. There will be curse words. It might not be a lot. It might be a lot. I don't know, but it will be. Um, but I start thinking, right? Like I shared a while ago, like probably earlier in the year, um, how I grew up in church and they were like, you don't go to therapy because those people are going to put things in your mind and then the devil going to have you thinking these kind of ways. And so for a long time, I didn't go to therapy. I was praying, I was giving it to God and hoping and wishing that it went away. But here I am at 41 and it didn't go away. And it didn't go away. So I went to therapy, and in therapy, I learned how to, I want to say how to cope with the things that happened to me. And had I not went to therapy, I can't even tell you where I will actually be right now. I can't, because I can't. But I realized that growing up in church, I didn't even chew my, hold on. And I got me some tea because I don't know if y'all saw me, but today is Cam's birthday. And I had, with my family to the Wisconsin Dells. Oh, I had my mask on and everything, but it was, hold on. Maybe it's just because I just got over what I just got over that I could hear a cough and a sneeze and it's magnified. But when I tell you, people just open air cough a lot. Like, I mean, wet coughs, dry coughs. I mean, it was a lot for me. And then I just, so I'm here. But, anyways, so when I was in therapy, right now, I'm not sharing the fullness of my therapy experience, but I'm sharing things that I will hope that could help you, right? I went to therapy and I didn't go in like, oh, they're going to put stuff in my head. I went to therapy like, listen, this is my last fucking resort because I gave it to Jesus and he didn't do anything. If you are a religious person, I'm not knocking your God or anything like that. I'm just telling my personal experience. I gave it to Jesus, ain't shit changed, so I have to go to therapy. I actually saw two therapists. Actually saw two of them. The first therapist, oh, it's the little boy. It's the little boy, the little one with the braids that wear it to the back. But I will tell him you say happy birthday. Hi, Tamika. Hi, King's Love. I don't know if I said that, but I'm gonna say that again. So I went to the first therapist I saw. Um, I was unpacking. Like he didn't. The craziest thing is like for my experience, your experience with therapy maybe be different, but they didn't do anything but ask me questions. And while they were asking me questions, I was like, so when are we going to get to the part where you're going to tell me how I can make all of this disappear? Hi, time. I missed you. Where have you been? We need to chat after this. So I'm like, when they gonna get to the part where they gonna tell me how to make all this shit disappear, how to make it, just go away. I don't want to deal with it anymore. Cause a lot of times we just don't want to deal with shit. Like we just throw it in the back of our head and we know we should deal with it. We know we should address it, but we don't because it's just like, who cares? Like I could say something happened to me or I could say, I want to do this, but who really cares? And I think that's another thing that goes hand in hand with like mental health. Like a lot of people won't talk about the fact that they're feeling depressed or they felt depressed or having feelings of depression. Um, Mainly because it's like, who cares? Or I don't want people to feel like I'm a burden to them, or I don't want people like it's always about other people's feelings. Well, I'm gonna tell you about me. If at any time, like I came to y'all and I didn't come to y'all, but I came and was like, listen, I'm on a journey of healing and self-discovery, and I'm gonna share everything I can with y'all because I want y'all to know that you are not in this alone. Like I know people break up, people get divorced, people lose their job, people do these things every single day. Every single day that happens to somebody. But when you look at like YouTube or social media, you see like people with a mask. And I don't just mean the COVID mask. I mean the mask. Like when I come outside, I'm gonna look all good. I got on these name brand clothes. I look fly, I look good. But when I go in my house and I lock that door and I know I'm in here by myself or I know I'm in here with somebody I really don't like, that moments I want those moments I want to talk about. Let's talk about the moments where you go in the bathroom and take a shower and you be in there and people be like, why are you in there so long? You're crying. You're uncontrollably crying. I'm sorry, y'all. Whew. You're uncontrollably crying or you're eating a lot. Like these are coping mechanisms or things that you do. So some of these things are unconscious. It's just something that you've done for a long period of time and it just happens. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna get back to my therapy story, but I'm gonna tell you this, right? I knew, or this is how I started to recognize when I was stressed, right? I would eat peanut M&Ms. Now you gonna know. You gonna know. I used to eat peanut M&Ms, 2 bags of Frito Lay, plain sunflower seeds, and drink a cherry Pepsi. And every time I did that, like I would consciously know that I'm stressed and I'm eating this. And I said to myself one day, what is stressing me? Like what? How did I get stressed? Like what is it? And then I got to the root of that, and I haven't had a Pepsi or sunflower seeds or peanut M&Ms in quite some time because I got to the root of it. But okay, back to therapy. So I was waiting for them to put all this stuff in my head and tell me how I was supposed to think, but they all they did was ask me questions. And I started to realize like I was the only girl for a while and I'm the oldest. So I'm the oldest grandchild, the only girl. So of course, people like to say I'm spoiled. I'm just not spoiled. I'm just really independent. I'll say that. Maybe I am a little spoiled. But anyways, um but nobody really like told me no or like told me or asked me anything. Like they were just I would say I want to do something and it was just like, "Okay, cool." And I was just like I I wanted that. I wanted people to tell me don't move to Arizona because you haven't lived anywhere by yourself. I wanted people to tell me these things, but nobody did. So when they were asking me these questions about how I feel or how did that make you feel or what was your thoughts at that moment, and I was just thinking like, I don't know. And then I told the story last week about going into the closet. I get emotional every time I talk about this because it's life changing. Therapy is life changing. Um, so I went not in the closet. I went into the music room or whatever. And so while I was in there, I was able to answer these questions. And like, it's crazy because like you can remember the smells, you can remember what you had on, you can remember all of those things. But like that's what I'm saying. Like we try to like block those things out, and then we become adults in our lives, like the things we shut off in the back of our minds, or we think that we shut off in the back of our minds, our lives play out according to that. Like if you were someone who were abused sexually, your life plays out according to that. Either you do things to like protect yourself, or either you don't do things and you're like reckless. Like you probably don't put one and two together because you're just thinking like, hey, I'm an adult, I'm gonna do what I want to do. But the reality of it is all connected from childhood all the way to adulthood. I guarantee you can look at something and be like, damn, I didn't even make that connection. I didn't. So that was the first therapist. Then I went to the second therapist, and it is EDMR. Eye rapid movement something. Actually, let me look it up so I can tell y'all the right one, just in case you're thinking about going to therapy. We're gonna talk about therapists too, like finding a therapist that's culturally sensitive. Hold on, here we go. It is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. I went to that. That's the therapy that I feel like was the best for me. That therapy is it's life changing. It's how I'm here and able to talk about the shit that I've been through without even like it's life changing. So I'm going to encourage you to seek out a therapist, or you don't even have to go to a professional therapist, but I wish you would. I wish you do. But you know, like we talk to our friends, our girlfriends, our homies, our moms, our dads, or whatever. And, you know, every this is what I be hearing when I be like, I be suggesting. I suggest to a lot of people to go to therapy, especially people of color. I suggest that they go to therapy, especially people that grew up in church or temple or any religious thing. Definitely go to therapy. Um, but everyone is always like, "Oh, well, I want to find someone who's not going to be biased." And the reality of it is people, I mean, we're all alive. We all developed biases. We all developed all kinds of things in a sense of us growing up, right? I want to encourage you to find someone that you could trust. And I say trust because you know we feel like, a lot of people speak to their parents or their sisters and brothers because it's like you're my family, and you know you don't trust them, but you talk to them because they're your mother, father, sister, brother, or whatever. And then the whole family or everybody knows, and now everybody's talking about it. So now you feel like, well, I'm not gonna say nothing because I don't want my business on the streets. But listen, let me tell you a little secret. We are currently surviving a global fucking pandemic. There is a possibility, there's a possibility that we could get locked down again. I don't want you to go into another lockdown. I don't want you to go into another situation and not be okay. Not be okay. Hey Ray. Um King's love, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like a lot of people, like so many people don't want to share their stories because they don't want to be looked at as crazy. They don't want people to talk about them. They don't want their business to be spread. But listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm 41 years old. My bills are paid. I don't care. I don't care. Guess what? I'm happy. I'm healthy. I'm on my way to being wealthy, and I am loved. And that is not something a lot of people can say. Some people can be like, I'm wealthy, but if you even have you seen the news lately? And a lot of the celebrities, like their celebrities missing, their celebrities overdosing, their celebrities going to the hospital because of the drugs or different things that they're taking. Their celebrities checking themselves in a rehab. Their celebrities, so they have wealth, but they don't have health. Like I am happy, I am healthy, and I'm on my way to being wealthy. Like How many people do you know could say that? Like, I'm 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 not going to say I'm not bragging. I am bragging because I'm happy to be there. It took me a long time to get there, and I'm happy to be there. And then I felt like I don't want to be in this place by myself, so let me come talk to y'all. Like I was thinking, like we don't talk about depression, we don't talk about anxiety. Like I remember I had an experience, right? We were on the road, me and a couple of my friends were on a road, and we're going to Colorado, right? And I had a severe panic attack. Like when you understand like what panic attack, you probably, if you look up the word panic attack and like read a little bit, Google it a little bit, you definitely should talk to a medical professional, but Google it a little bit and you probably will see like, hey, you've had a panic attack or two before in your life, anxiety attack, whatever you want to call it. So we're driving, and like the further away from Wisconsin we get, like I really just start freaking out, like freaking out. It got so bad, like it was the winter time, right? So there's snow on the ground. We're on the highway driving. They had to pull over. I had to get out of the car, take my shoes and socks off. Remind you, it is winter time. It is winter time. I took my shoes and socks off and stood on the side of the highway in the snow with my feet melting through the snow onto the ground, and I was calm. And that was something that I learned from therapy, which is grounding. Or like sometimes when I feel like my anxiety getting high when there's too many people around, I tap, and that's just to help me center myself to know that I am okay. A lot of the things that we do are you probably heard this before, fight or flight. Those are our responses. But if you are so used to running, like that's something that a lot of people do, and that's run. It's not like literal run, but you like run away from things, like you run away from confrontation. Somebody do some shitty stuff to you, and in the back of your mind it's telling you to fucking address it and speak your piece, but you like, nah, I don't want to do that because then it's gonna lead here, then they're not gonna talk to me no more, they're not gonna hang out with me. Listen, it is 2021. Anybody that you speak to and you speak your mind and tell them who you are, what you have, set boundaries, and they do not want to be around you, they were not meant to be there anyways. I'm sharing this because this is something that I am learning. I have learned. I will continue to learn. A lot of times we want people around just because we are um, not comfortable being alone. We are not comfortable with being alone. So we put ourselves in situations. Yes, I did say we put ourselves in situations because you can sit there right now and think about a situation that you are in, or you just got out of, or you are on your way out of. Where you put yourself in that situation because you were missing, it was something that you were missing. Like I was telling someone, I said the love that I was looking for was self-love. Like I've talked about my mother, I talked about my father, I talked about the person, I talked about all of that. But the most important person that I wanted to love me was me. And it took me it took me getting cheated on, getting a divorce, and having COVID to realize that I did not love myself as I thought I did. And so now I'm going to spend the rest of my life loving me, letting go of letting go of the things that caused me to not love me. And what were the things that caused me to not love me? Caring about other people's feelings more than myself, doing for others more. People pleasing is what it's called. Um, it stemmed from my childhood, and it had to do with like rejection, even like things like that, like rejection, insecurities, abandonment, like all of those things have a play in mental health also. Because like if you were mistreated as a child and nobody really cared, and then you become, you go to school and you be the class clown, or you become the bully, or like as you get older you going to spend all your money on like glasses or shoes or a nice car just so people can be like, oh, your car fly, your glasses fly. All of that's validation. All of these things are like things that we don't talk about a lot. Like I said, I was talking to Cam's mother. Actually, I was talking to her, and I noticed. Hopefully, she comes in here, and then we're really gonna have a talk about it. But I noticed that she was crying. Like she would cry a lot, and I was noticing, and then I remembered, like, I watched a lot of like medical shows because I at one point I did want to go to school to be a pediatrician. So I watched a lot of medical shows, and I was like, "Hey, I think you have." I'm not a medical professional, but I'm like, "Hey, I think you have the thing. If y'all are parents, y'all know where you have the baby, and then there's I forget it every time. You have the baby, and it's depression. It's a postpartum. That's what it is. Sorry, it was there. When it be on the tip of your tongue, you have to figure it out. I'm like, I think you might be depressed. And she was like, "You think so?" And just her talking about like what she was going through, what she was experiencing, it was just like we don't do that. Like we don't look at our friends or our family members like we don't really care. We've become so what's the word I'm looking for? We don't really care. We don't really care. Like somebody can post somebody can post that hi Nick, somebody can post about they not they're not feeling well or they having suicidal thoughts or anything like that, and then you will see underneath there like people will say, "I'm praying for you," or "Call me if you need me," or like we've got so like programmed to saying those things. Like me, I'm gonna pull up on you. I'm gonna pull up. COVID and no COVID, I'm gonna be masked up, gloved up. I'm gonna be all that, and I'm gonna pull up on you because the last thing I want, like I literally just said this yesterday, because I've lost too many people in the last year. I don't have the capacity to lose another person. I mean, I'm not Jesus or God or whoever. I'm not in control of anything, but right now I just know that I am at my max with loss, and I am okay with saying I'm at my max with loss. Like I'm just now getting to the point where I am acknowledging some loss. Like some loss I just threw in the back of my mind was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get to that when I get to that." And then I was like, "Nope, pause. We're gonna pull it all out and we're gonna deal all with all of it. All of it. I'm gonna deal with it. I'm gonna have to sit, cry, snot, cuss at the air, throw my fist in the sky, whatever I have to do, I'm going to deal with it because I'm not throwing anything in the back of my mind. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna walk around with anxiety. That's what I'm telling y'all. So, in earlier this year, as I'm gonna tell you, it I'm not gonna say it was magically disappeared. I'm gonna say it's just not as bad as it used to be. That's what it is. Um, Earlier this year, I don't know. Y'all could probably go to my YouTube. It is on there. Um, I went to Vegas with Get Lit with Mo, Rasta Swisher, Vaughn, and Vicky Crazy Adventures. Um, and that was the first time I had flew on a plane um, by myself, right? And so usually whenever I got ready to fly, I would have like really severe panic attacks. This is how I know I'm like in the process of like I'm the healing process where I am in my healing journey. So I go to get on the plane, and like when you used to having anxiety attacks, it's like, oh, I can feel it. Like my hands get a little sweaty. I feel it coming on, and I just said, what am I doing? What am I doing? I asked myself the tough question. Why are you getting anxious? What are you anxious for? And it was just like, because I haven't flew by myself. And then it was like, nah, you got this. You got this. So I figured, like, you know what? If people start asking other people questions, because like if you go to work every day, right? You go to work every day. You know you don't like that job. Every day you complain about being at the job, waking up for the job, leaving the job, being at the job, going back to the job from your break. Don't you think it's important for you to ask yourself, why do you have so much disdain for this job? And why you continue to go to a job that you have so much disdain for? Oh my God. Oh, sorry, y'all. It's a millipede. Millipede, centipede, whatever it is. I need a moment. You know how you just sitting here and you see something like, yep, it was a millipede. I thought it was a spider. I thought it was a spider. I was definitely gonna freak out. I'm just let y'all know. I'm not afraid of spiders. I just don't like the way they move. Like you ever watch? Oh, now I'm gonna be. You ever watch the way a spider move? It's really freaky. Anyways, now I'm gonna keep looking up. It's okay. It's dead. You know, you got to keep looking over just to see and make sure that it's dead. Like I smashed it. I know it is. Forgive me for killing, but it freaked me out and I had to. Um, as I sip my tea. Um, I got on the plane. I would usually sit in the front of the plane just because my anxiety was bad. I couldn't be in the I couldn't claustrophobia, all of that stuff. Ooh. But I actually went to the middle of the plane. If you know how big the planes are, I went to the middle of the plane now. I didn't get to the point where I'm ready to sit by the window yet. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. First, you gotta take steps. I wasn't like, oh yeah, let me sit by the window because I had to take steps. Uh, excuse me. I got on the plane, got in the middle of the plane, and I was good. Got to Vegas. I left Vegas, went to Washington, and I actually sat in the fifth row from the back of the plane. I was like, oh. See, when you start to understand, like I used to say that I was protecting myself. I didn't protect myself from shit. A lot of the stuff that I got into was me thinking I was protecting myself. In actuality, it was like I was only causing more harm because I didn't deal with the root cause. That's what EDMR therapy taught me, to deal with the root cause. Like I have story times coming up um in October. Um I used to drink. When I say I used to drink alcohol, like hard liquor, like not I never was a fruity drinker, but I mean like hard liquor, like hard liquor. I used to drink that like water, like real life water. Like I used to call myself a functioning drunk cuz I used to go to work lit. But I realized that I would never get drunk. Like I could drink so much and I would never have the drunk feeling. And then I was in therapy and I was telling her like, yeah, I'm a drinker. I'm like, why do we say that like with so much I'm a drinker. I could drink. I said that and she was like, "Well, why do you drink?" And I was like, for social, to be social when I'm out. And she's like, "No, why do you really drink?" And I was just like, what you mean? That is why I'm drinking. And then she asked me again, and it was like, bloop, at the forefront of my mind. It was like, I drink because, and I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. I'm drinking because I'm trying to cover up the pain that I felt from this. And I was just like, I don't know why I never put that together. But this is what I'm saying. It's in there, it's connected in there. But if you never like pull it out, dust it off, and be like, well, this is why I do what I do, there's no connection. So what I'm saying is like while I'm here, I'm saying something to you, or hopefully you're looking at my story and be like, no, that ain't happened to me, or that did happen to me, or wait, hold on. Let me check out and see if, you know, let me just survey if that happened to me or whatever. So when she said that, I was like, oh, and she's like, so what about it made you drink? I was like, the pain. Like nobody wants to feel the pain. And then she was like, why not? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Like it was the majority of my therapy sessions was like, why? How did you feel? Why? How? What? the who, what, where, why, how, and when. It was like that was the majority of my therapy sessions. And I was really waited because, for years I would hear, don't go to therapy because they're going to put. And so I was really waiting. And then it was like it never happened. And the more I would cry and talk about what the fuck had happened to me and what was going on and my coping mechanisms, the snacks and the alcohol. And as of like earlier this year, I realized it was work. If I was working all the time, I didn't have to focus on anything other than my work. And it was work. Like if I felt rejection, I worked. If I felt abandoned, I worked. And I just worked to replace all of that. And little did I know that was a coping mechanism. Because you don't think like if you work in a lot, you don't think that's a coping mechanism. You just think I'm trying to get this bread. I got hopes, dreams, and aspirations, but in actuality, there's something you're doing that as a result, so you don't have to deal with something else. No more coping for me. I mean, I am acknowledging, I am accepting, and I am adjusting. Once I understand, I don't work as much. I haven't at the beginning of this year, y'all saw me. I was on it like, yeah, I'm working. Then, that situation happened and I was just like, you know what, let me reevaluate this. I need to outsource some things because I don't need to be doing everything. I don't have to do everything. But that's the thing. Like I told y'all a minute ago, I'm independent. So I've always done everything. Always taking care of the bills, I always make sure everybody else is good. And it's like, so who makes sure you good while you making sure everybody else is good? And I was like, oh, that's a good question. I mean, I had somebody that was making sure I was good, but then, you know, that, that was what it was. And yeah, that's a good question. Like right now in your life, if you're watching this, who is making sure you're good while you're making sure everybody else is good? Who is making sure that, the simple things that you ate, checked on you, sent you a text to see how you were doing today? Like, are you always the first to text? Are you always the first to offer to go out or offer to go to dinner or pay or whatever, right? I was thinking how religion played such a huge my experience with religion wasn't a typical experience with religion. And in the whole therapy process, I realized like I don't believe in God. I do believe in like being good, treating people right. I do believe in that, but I don't believe in God. And I know a lot of you probably unsubscribed or unfollowed, but hey, it's deeper than that. I'm gonna talk about it as so October, November, December, the fourth quarter is going to be healing. It's going to be healing, accepting, acknowledging, adjusting. It's going to be showing like different ways. Because, people will be like, hey, you need to stop drinking, but they don't show you how to stop drinking, or they tell you to go to the 12 steps. And then it's like, okay, I got these 12 steps, but what if I'm like, we need more people to do support, to be more of a support and and let us know like, hey, you're not in this alone. Like that's why I'm still here on YouTube, because I was like, so many people go through so many different things and don't have an outlet to share. Like I was talking to you guys about the soft white underbelly. um is it underbelly soft white? I don't know. It's a channel here on YouTube if you're on YouTube. And the guy interviews like just people that be on the streets, I guess, in Skid Row in Los Angeles. And I watch it. I watch it. I know I'm like, I don't have a drug addiction or anything like that, but I watch it. And when I'm watching it, a lot of the people are saying how like some of them have awesome childhoods and they just like want to see what it's like to be, you know, have hardships, and then they have hardships and get addicted to drugs, and then it be that. But a lot of them have really tough upbringings, and then they just use drugs as a way to like cope with what they went through. And I'm watching this and I'm just like, how many people do we know in our everyday lives that do that? Like, how many people do we know that get sloppy drunk? Like, get sloppy drunk and always want to fight? Like, my godmother said to me once, she said, when someone gets drunk and they start talking, she said, is drunken thoughts of a sober mind. So that's when they have the courage. So when the song by Liquid Courage came out, she was like, that's when they have the courage to say whatever they need to say. And then if it goes bad, they can just be like, hey, I was drunk. So don't really take what I said seriously. And I was just like, but how many people do we know do that? Like, looking at the news, right? How many of those actors or actresses or comedians or anything like that looked like they were actually suffering? They got so used to wearing a mask that you really didn't see that they was actually suffering. Like, you saw it, like, we know actresses, singers, songwriters where we saw like, yeah, something is going on with you, and why don't your people around you getting help? And then you got to think about it, right? How hard is it to be an actress or a celebrity? How hard is it to be a celebrity when people around you are your lawyers, your publicists, you paying these people, and just so that they can continue to get paid, they will do they will do their job. Like, they forget like you are an actual human being, but instead they're going to do their job because they want that money. Like, I don't want to just become I don't want to become about the money. I want to make sure, like, if I feel sad or depressed, or I'm having a panic attack or a moment of anxiety, I want to be able to talk to someone and be like, "Hey, um here's what I'm going through." I've never been one to be like, "Oh, you going to go spread my business." I feel like the more people that know, the more people that help. Now, I'm not shouting from the mountaintop, but it's just like my community. I have a community. I have several people from here from YouTube. I have people around me. That's my community. Like, I go to them. Like, we look for each other, and we look to each other for strength. Like, that's me. I don't want to be surrounded by somebody I feel like you're only going to use what I tell you to like get a leg up or hold it, and then when I get to my lowest point, you will be like, or my highest point, you'll come back and be like, "Hey, remember that time I gave you money when you said you was depressed and you ain't had?" I don't we like I don't know why people do that. Actually, I do know why people do that, because something within them isn't healed. Something within them isn't healed. And so they use that as a way to like make themselves feel better, instead of just being a friend. Instead of just being someone to say, like, when I first started going through whatever, right? I literally was like, "Hey, I'm gonna have good days. I'm gonna have bad days." Cause I'm 41. Well, I was 40, but I turned 41, and I was like, that's the reality of it, right? If we just be honest with ourselves and be like, "Hey, you know what? I'm not feeling good today. I'm sad today. Why am I sad? Like, what made me sad? What can I do to not be sad?" Like, if we understand the process of life, if we understand, like, people, it's so many angry people out here. Like, what makes you angry? What happened for you to be angry? Like, if you ask not only yourself, but if you ask, like, parents, like, if your child is like acting out or whatever, ask them, why are they acting out? But instead of asking, we just beat, and then not beat, or we discipline. I don't have kids, but discipline, and then you never talk to the child, teenager, whatever, about why they're being disciplined. So now it's just like, whatever I do, I'm gonna be disciplined. So I mean, I'm gonna get your attention. I couldn't get your attention before, so let me go ahead and fight at school, because then you're gonna come and pay attention to me. Even though you yelling at me, now my sense of love and affection is yelling and rejection. And I feel like that's a part of mental health too. Like I was saying, like never known, like you know people that are insecure, right? But in the last year and a half, I've met a lot of insecure people. A lot of them. And I don't just mean insecure like looks. I mean insecure with like their selves, like just being themselves. And then I'm talking to them and then I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense." Like they're not doing what their parents want them to do, or they feel like, "Oh, I'm 30 and I'm supposed to have a husband, or I'm supposed to have a wife, I'm supposed to have kids, I'm supposed to have this." Like there's all these um things that were placed on them, and because they haven't strived to that, they haven't risen up to that level, they feel like nothing because they're not there. Or they were in a group of people and it's like all the people that they were with are climbing up the ladder and they just like down here. And then I started to understand the whole crab in the barrels, or crab in the barrels, um, crabs in the pot, bucket, whatever. Y'all know what I'm saying. I started to understand that. And that's where I recognized in myself that I lacked confidence. Um, because I was so used to like doing, like I'm so used to going to school. I'm so used to getting certifications. I'm used to doing all of that, but I'm also used to not celebrating that. And I was used to not celebrating because I felt bad, because the people around me weren't doing that. They weren't going to school, they weren't starting businesses, they weren't doing these things. And then when I would be like, "Hey, I just scored a documentary," and then people would be like, "Oh, you think you better," or and it wasn't me thinking that I was better. It was just like, maybe you just need to find out something that you're good at, and then I would immediately support you and be all over social media like, "Look at my friend did this," or but we don't do that. We're not taught to like when I my nieces and nephews, right, when they do stuff, right, and I'd be like, "Good job," I clap, I make a whole big deal out of it, right? And so now I realize that everyone else, when the kids do something good, or the teenagers or whatever do something good, people make a big deal out of it, right? And that's, for me, it was like, man, nobody really made a big deal about graduating college because nobody was really graduating college around me. They was People was lucky to make it out of high school. So when I graduated college, it's like that's when oh, you talk proper, or you talk this and you think you better. And I'm just like, no, I don't. And so I just went inside myself. Everything I did, I just tossed in the back of my mind, like, yeah, whatever. And then this year hit and I was like, fuck that. I'm celebrating everything. Cause I feel like if you see more people like people be trying to like say the celebrities are going to corrupt their kids' minds. In actuality, the first people your kids look up to is you. The first people they want to be like is their mama or their daddy or their grandparents. So whatever they see you doing, if they seeing you cussing out everybody in the house, I mean, mental health. Let's go back to mental health. I feel like that is a part of the mental health, right? I feel like that. Because I feel like I used to hear people say, like, if you call a child dumb or slow, they're gonna grow up and they're gonna be dumb and slow because that's what they heard a lot. Where if we do more encouraging and support, like I support the whole like people have baby showers. I support like business showers. Like, why don't we do business showers? If somebody's starting a business, we have a whole big old thing about it because that's huge. Like, that's huge. As a fellow entrepreneur, I know how much time and energy and how much sacrifice goes into building a business. So I'm down to celebrate anybody who take on that responsibility because it isn't easy. If you're thinking about it, you got to make sure you in it for the long haul because right out the gate, you ain't going to be getting millions of dollars. I mean, a lot of people did with the but no, you got to put in a lot of time, energy, build relationships. Like, I tell people, like, so many people think that if they had money, their life would be different. Yeah, your life would be different in a sense where you could go and buy the car, you could buy the house, you could do all of that. But like I said, you gonna go in the house, turn the lights, lock the door, and turn the lights off, and then you're gonna be sitting up in there crying. Or you're gonna be bringing multiple people up in the house, and now you setting yourself up to. It's all just a vicious cycle. Like that's why I wanted to talk and say, hey, if you are depressed, if you have feelings of depression, talk to someone. Don't just go into your like I said to someone the other day. Um, I was like, don't just go into your shell. Like if every time some fucked up shit happened to you, you decide to go in a shell. How about this one time? Just take this one time and don't go into your shell. Don't go into hibernation. Just stay out. Stay out and say, hi, Joda, bro. Stay out and say, you know what? I'm gonna handle this shit. Like, okay, I've been happy, I've been sad, I've been disappointed, I've been all of these things before in life. Because whatever age you at, I'm sure all the things that I just listed, you could go off a list. Yeah, I was disappointed. Yeah, I was sad. Yeah, I was angry. Yeah, I was happy as hell. You could go off the list. As long as you are alive, that list you'll be able to go off of. So once you know what it's like to be angry, once you know what it's like, once you figure out, okay, people lying to me makes me angry. So if you're talking to somebody and you know they're lying, it's not for you to get angry because you already know lies make you angry. How about you just be like, you know what? Why are you lying? I know you lying. And then pull out the receipts. Boom. Now you happy. You went from being angry to happy. Why not do that? Like I was talking to someone and something I said, this is another thing I learned from therapy is triggers. Something I said triggered them. Like it wasn't me intentionally. I was just talking about a situation that I had and how I overcame that situation, but it triggered them. And so they got on the defense and they started yelling at me. And I was like, hold on, wait a minute. We were just having a cool conversation. What happened? And then they were like, well, you were telling me about your story. And then I had a memory. And I was like, well, are you comfortable talking about that memory? Because if you know me, if you don't know me, let me tell you, I'm the type of person, I'm going to ask you the hard questions. And not on purpose. Like, I'm not going to ask you just because I'm like, ooh, let me get into your life. Like, I'm just an inquisitive person. I just want to know. I just want to know. If you do some fucked up shit to somebody, I'm going to be like, why did you do that? And then I'm the type of person, if I do some fucked up shit, like the other day I was on live. It wasn't fucked up, but I used to be like, because my brothers have kids, right? My brothers have kids. Y'all see the kids on the channel sometimes. My brothers have kids, and I was like, why y'all don't be streaming? Why y'all don't, be making beats on, why y'all don't stream? And they're like, oh, it's hard when you have kids. And I was like, that's just an excuse. And then if y'all saw my stream the other night, I had two of the kids over here and I was trying to stream and I was like, oh, this shit is hard. So I apologize. I'm going to apologize again today because if you are a parent, anyone that have called you lazy, anyone who have said, I didn't call people lazy. I just said my brothers had all the time and they was making an excuse. So I apologize to them. But parents, y'all not lazy. Y'all have to take the time. Like I went in the bathroom. Let me tell you, right? I went in the bathroom. I didn't even get in the bathroom to close the door. They were sitting right there. Like, what are you doing? I'm using the bathroom. And they're like, well, we miss you and we want you. I'm like, y'all right here. But they're kids. They don't know that. They just want to be by me. And so I was just like, okay. It's I see what parents are talking about. I did make some music. I did make music. It was just tough. It was just really tough. And then even in that instance, I just thought about the kids. Like they were looking at it. They was like, they didn't care that I was trying to make music. They just wanted to spend time with me. They were here with me. They wanted to spend time with me. They wanted to sit on my lap. They wanted to be close by me. They wanted to do whatever I was doing. And then I was just like, in that moment, I was like, yep, I owe a parents an apology. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm woman enough to say that. I apologize for saying that y'all were making an excuse. And I said this about my brothers, but if you're a parent and anyone has called you lazy, now if you're lazy, I'm not apologizing to you, but I'm apologizing to anyone who has been called lazy, who has kids and who has to take like Small moments, like when your child is asleep, you have to take that small moments to get everything that you need to get done at that time. I applaud you. Parents, I applaud you. Here's what I want you to do. I want to encourage you to love on your kids more. Love on them. Because if you are a parent and you have kids and you can look at your kids and be like, dang, so this is what my mother was talking about. Like, it's the love factor. Love. Love and respect them as little human beings. If you respect them and make them feel like their opinion matters or their words matters, we won't have a lot of these adults out here who are choosing to use these or the other things instead of using their words. That's why I be saying all the time in my lives, I say lives or video, I say use your words, because those, can you imagine how things can change if you use your words? Like, if you just open your mouth and be like, hey, I'm sad. Like, it really bothers me when you go on social media and somebody say, I'm depressed, I haven't eaten in 5 days, or it's anything like that. And then it's a list of people saying, praying for you, God gonna heal you, God, whatever, may God give you some food. If you got some food in your refrigerator, go take them some food. That's what I be thinking. That's how I think. I know that religion teaches us to pray for people. I want to also say that religion shows us to treat others how we want to be treated. Like, if you notice you got a freezer full of food and you know somebody's on Facebook talk about they ain't got enough food. Now, I can understand if you're not in the same place as them, but this DoorDash, Uber, whatever. I mean, whatever. Cash App work for everybody. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Like, we have become so, like, I'm not gonna say inhumane, but we have become so to the point where it's like we would rather, we'll see people. Like, you ever see the people that's outside of the gas stations, or here they stand in Wisconsin, they stand on the side of the road, like the little island, and they have the things. Like, I would literally stop traffic. I've done it before. I've literally stopped traffic, got all of the change out of my truck and gave it to the people. And people was like, why do you do that? They just gonna go smoke or drink or whatever. I said, you don't be thinking about that when you be paying your light bills and they be buying little kids overseas. You don't think about that. You don't think about that when you go spend $200 on them pair of pants. And those people is doing whatever they do with that money. We don't think about that. But we try to, the little person that's on the street that ain't got as much as we want to dictate how they do it. Like, I literally watched a person from church. And one of those people came up and they was like, hey, do you got some money? The person gave him some money and they was like, Lord, if they go smoke or drink with this, let their stomach hurt, let them throw up, let them do all of this stuff. And I was like, you you know hmm. And then I just gave it to them because I was like, once I give it to you, it's not mine anymore. Like, why do we feel like we can pray a prayer like that on somebody's life? Like, you don't know how they got into that situation. That was me. That's what I'm saying. Me, like, I don't know what, like, I didn't know what triggered the person, but when they told me their story, I was like, oh, I could see how you got triggered. Like, if we have more conversations, like I was telling, like, a couple of weeks ago, I'm gonna keep reference this, so hint, hint, y'all could go watch the videos. But a couple of weeks ago, we were in a live, and a young lady was like, "Well, what do you think are some important things to do when you start in a relationship?" Um, and I said, number one, always be honest, regardless of how you think it's going to turn out. Always be honest. And number two, understand the other person's love language. I know you probably like, I don't believe in all of that stuff. You probably don't. But the reality of it is when I say understand another person's love language, for me, it's understand how they grew up. If they grew up in a situation where their mother and father was never there and all they heard was yelling and fussing and fighting, their love language is probably going to be quality time or touch, because they didn't have that. Like, the people that was supposed to teach them, love and all, they didn't have that. So understand a person in love language, where some people probably got beat all the time or abused, growing up. And that's how they understand love, is like, if you're not yelling or punching. Like, there's so many different things. This is why I wanted to talk about mental health, because it's so big, it's so broad, And I know like when you go to like the mental health professional, they try to like say, "Oh, you have this," and then they give you medicine. But for me, I think like if we look at the grand spectrum of things, right? There's so many different things that affects us on a daily basis that we don't speak about, and some of the things is because we don't know, like I said about anxiety or postpartum depression. Even if we want to talk about COVID, like I literally feel like I want to say it's like fear, like we're gonna oh, you can die, you could be on a ventilator, and I'm not saying it like this, but you'll get where I'm saying. But we're not telling people the reality of it. Like I heard the other day, like I was watching the View, and they took the people off, and then they were like, "Oh, they tested positive for COVID," and they said they have the COVID breakthrough or the breakthrough COVID, and I was like, "What the fuck is a breakthrough COVID? What the fuck is COVID break? What is that?" What is it? And they're like, "Oh, we get tested and they got vaccines and all this stuff. They got vaccinated." What the hell is COVID breakthrough? I never heard what that is. Like, is we're not. That's why I was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all. Like, I haven't even seen. I probably get in trouble. I don't even care. But I want you to know, it's real, whatever it is, and it affects everybody differently." They're talking about the people. They are talking about the people. Oh, if you have an underlying issue, okay, we got you with the underlying issue. But if you don't have an underlying issue, even if you have the vaccine, it affects you differently. Like I am 41 years old. I have taken NyQuil, Dayquil, Tylenol, all of those things all of my life, and just this year I have become allergic to it. And then I started doing some more research about, COVID and acetaminophen and all of those different things. And I'm just like, why aren't they telling people this? Like, why don't they share the realness of it? Like, I appreciate all the people who have COVID and who had COVID and was on the ventilators or whatever, and they're talking about what happened to them. I appreciate those kind of stories because here I was 41 working out, drinking juice, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I wasn't. I was scared. Like real life scared. I was scared. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I was scared. Like it was terrifying for me. I said that today and I was like, oh, and I heard myself say that, got a little emotional. And I was just like, I don't scare easy. Mm-mm. I don't scare easy, but that scared me. And not just because I could have possibly died. It's just like, man, did I do everything I wanted to do? Did I say everything I wanted to say? Like, I mean, of course I did, except for, I said what I said. Um, but other than that, it was just like, how many people are walking around here thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that tomorrow, or yeah, I know I'm depressed, or I know I have anxiety, or I know that there's something wrong with me, like something isn't connecting. Like people make fun of like, oh, I got ADHD, like that's a joke now. Oh yeah, I'm ADHD, like that's a real thing. Like people make jokes, they make light of it. Like I as a member of the African American community, I know that sometimes we make jokes about things that we are uncomfortable with. And instead of people getting help, like I feel like we need to do more talking to each other because this is why another reason why I say it, right. When like a celebrity or not even celebrity, somebody die, right? We go and find all the pictures. We go and find all of that. I'm not telling you how to agree. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, what if you would have talked to that person? Like I literally, um, after I started feeling better, I literally sent a message or called or FaceTimed everyone that was in my heart in that time. Everyone that was in my heart, like I tell my friends, I said, if somebody drops on your heart or your mind, you're not even thinking about them. You wasn't thinking about them. There was nowhere in your peripheral vision. You didn't look at a photo or nothing, and they just drop in your heart and your mind. It is for you to reach out to that person. Reach out to them. You never know what kind of situation they is. I've done this in this past week, and I didn't know what situations people were in, but I understood when I called and said, "Hey, I'm just calling to see how you're doing. I haven't talked to you in a minute." And then it was just like, this is going on. And I wasn't like, "Oh, I'm gonna pray for you." I was like, um, are you up for company? That was the first question. Are you up for company? Are you what's going on? Do you want to talk about it? Whatever. I'm not going to people's house because hey. But FaceTime works great. So I'm just talking to different people and I'm just like, man, so many people are hurting. So many people are hurting. And I can't save everybody. I can't help everybody, but I can encourage you to find the root of that. Find the root of where the hurt comes from. Find the root of where the pain. And if you get to the root of the pain, like for me, it was like um the rejection and abandonment I felt from my parents. That started that was the root of the pain that started it. And then of course all the other bullshit that happened to me as I made my way to 41, but the root of it was the rejection and the abandonment I felt from my parents. And that's not blaming my parents. That's for me, it's where it started for me. And I can literally look back and see every decision that I made because I was trying to be not face rejection or not deal with it. But at 41, I don't give a fuck if you reject. I don't care if you walk away. I don't care none of those things. And I'm not saying it like, "Oh, I don't give a fuck." I really don't. But what I'm saying is this. I love me. I love me. I could take, like, people make fun of people taking themselves to dinner or going to the movies. I could do all that by myself. So if somebody else come along and be like, "Hey, I want to spend the rest of my life with you," I could do it great with them because why? I'm gonna be honest and I'm gonna figure out their love language. I need to know. I need to know like what your upbringing was like, because maybe somebody called you out your name every day of the week, and you don't even know you don't know what it feels like to have somebody call your name in a loving manner. So I'm gonna call your name. You don't know what it feels like to have somebody give you flowers just because. I'm gonna give you flowers just because. I'm gonna listen to you and I'm gonna see, okay, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. Oh, I got your love language. I got you. That's just me. I'm gonna make sure that you feel love, not just from what I know love to be, but from what you know love to be, but the opposite. Like if yelling is your thing, I don't yell. I be having a hard time when I have to fluctuate my voice to I don't yell. I like to talk. If you looking for somebody that's gonna yell back and forth and call you out your name and do all that cursing, it's not me. Move past me. Swipe left or right, whichever way it go. Do that. For me, I'm just gonna talk. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna want to get to know, and while I'm talking to you, I'm gonna want to hold you. Like this physical touch. We here. You are not alone in this situation, and you gonna be good, and we gonna be good. And as we move forward, you ain't gonna have to worry. Like somebody tell me, "Oh, I'm feeling depressed." I literally just told somebody, "I will come to where you are right now. I will come to where you are." And they was like, "Oh no, I'm fine." I was like, "I'm already in the car." So either you're gonna open the door or you're not. And then they gonna open the door because I'm who I am. And I'm not gonna stop calling you. I'm not gonna stop texting. I'm that kind of friend. If I know that you are not in a good space, I'm not gonna just be like, "Oh, I'm praying, send you a text. I'm praying for you. I talk to you in the morning." No, because you might not make it to the morning. If somebody is telling you that they are not in a good space, call them, talk to them on the phone. You never know how that conversation can change everything. And I'm saying this as someone who has done it multiple times. And then now it might not be the case for you, but the reality of it is if we just want to know that other people care, we just want to know that. We just want to know that we matter to somebody else. You probably like, "Nah, I don't give a..." Listen, I'm the queen of I don't give a fuck. I'm a self-proclaimed queen if I don't give a fuck. But I'm gonna tell you the reality of it is I do care. Like when I had the situation and so many people were showing me so much love, I was just like, damn, I really am loved. I mean, I know I'm loved because how could you not love me? Anyways, but it was like I'm real life loved. Like people real life, like people I smiled a lot. Like here I am, like in the thick of it, and I smiled a lot. People was dropping stuff off at my porch, and taking a picture of it. And it was like, hey, I got you some groceries, or hey, I got you this. It's downstairs on the porch. I don't want to. And I'm just like, I laughed because I thought it was cute. Like they really just showed me their support, but they made sure they were protecting themselves at the same time. And I just think that that was cool. And it definitely helped to have other people. Like it definitely helps to have someone you can talk to. Oh, that's why I said cultural, somebody that's culturally sensitive when you go to therapy, right? Somebody who understands what it's like to be, if you're a person of color, somebody understands what it's like to be a person of color. So most people go to black therapists or people of color, therapists of color. It's important to get that so they can understand, where you come from or whatever. So my therapist was cool because she came from a religious background, and I'm so stuffed up. This is retarded. Not retarded, sorry. This is so crazy. She come from a religious background, and she understood when I was like, yeah, they say pray about everything. Pray. Like I prayed about everything, and it still didn't take it away. And then it was just like, it's never going to go anywhere. And then that's how I realized, like when you throw it in the back of your mind, like your mind, it starts to, the experience also registers in your mind, and it also registers in your body. So say you had a traumatic situation where someone took your innocence from you, or someone took advantage of you in the sexual sense. It not only registers in your mind, it also registers in your body. So if you ever tense up when you be in situations, that's your body trying to tell you. It's your defense mechanism. It's your body trying to tell you, like, hey, we are uncomfortable in this situation. And sometimes we just disregard it, like, oh, whatever it is. But that's your body trying to tell you. That's why when we talk mental health, it's like being able to distinguish, like listening to your body, listening to your first mind, listening, understanding what's going on with you. Understanding, like if you sleeping a lot, and like I'm work, and then you sleeping a lot, there's something going on. You probably need to get help. There is nothing, let me say, there is nothing wrong with getting help. Nothing. There's nothing wrong with getting help. And whether help is a self-help book, whether help is talking to your guys, your girls, your boo, your baby mama, your mommy, your daddy, just get some help. Because if we go into another lockdown and the people that have come out of 2020's lockdown haven't taken to the time to do the work, we already saw how it was when, the former president was geeking his people up. We already saw how that was. We don't need that. Like, all of the parents who in the last couple of months who are like putting their kids to sleep, giving them NyQuil and DayQuil, and just so they can get a break. It's like there's so much stuff going on. So if you feel like you are not okay, get some help. I don't know how many times I could say that, but I'm gonna keep saying get some help. If you feel like right now, if you feel like you are not okay, get some help. I went to ED EMDR therapy. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a psychotherapy. Um and it's good for if you had a lot of trauma in your, I had a lot of trauma with um being molested and stuff like that. And it works. It's like I said it last Sunday, but um, just to give you an idea of what it's like, hold on, hold on. Now my mouse want to start working. Um, I don't know how old you are, King's Love, but if you ever seen the Night Rider car and the lights just go back and forth like this, it was, I just looked at lights, and then I was in a safe space, and then they just asked me, well, she just asked me, like who, what, where, why, how, and when. And basically, it was like, what did I feel? What did I feel in that moment? Like being able to talk about those things. And that's how, for me, I have come to the understanding that talking about things help me. Actually, you know what? Um, it's EMDR. EMDR. That's the therapy I went to. I'm actually getting ready to go. I'm going to do online therapy because therapists. All of the different protocols they have now, and I'm not really comfortable. T- this weekend definitely showed me that I'm not really comfortable being out. I'm not. When I tell you, I heard a guy stood in the spot, no mask on. Now he could have been vaccinated. I don't know. I don't know. Cough just like this. And all you saw was and he didn't do it just once or twice. He literally coughed 6 times, and I stood there and watched. And I got my mask on. He was like a little distance away from me, and I just stood there like, you're not gonna cover your mouth at all. You're not even gonna try to catch it. You're not even gonna put it in your arm. You're not gonna do none of that. And I'm like, okay. So then we get a little ways away, and then it's just like, shoot. And then I can't. I literally can't. It's not fear. It's just like I just don't understand like why you can't. Like I learned from a child to cover my mouth. Like if I can't cover it with my hands, if I shake people's hands, don't cover with your hands. Do like this, or I, I don't know. It's just a lot, and I think it's just because of the situation. And I just be thinking like, oh, I be wiping everything. I wipe everything down. I get in my car and I only sit in the driver's seat, but I get in my car and I wipe everything down with Clorox disinfectant because I don't know. I might have to go in the back seat to grab something and touch. I don't know. I just don't. I don't want to be sick like that ever again. Ever. Ever. If you had a situation and you was like, that was the worst. I never want to do that again. That's exactly what that was for me. Exactly. I don't want to have that feeling of like I was scared. I was really scared, especially when I was coughing up stuff. That was scary. And they was talking about, yeah, scary. Scary. Um, I know I know a lot of people, especially people of color, go to church. I know you do. And you're probably watching this and you're not a person of color. You're probably whatever you are. And I'm not, I would never knock anyone's religion, even though I don't knock anybody's religion because, hey, it might work for you. It might work for you. But I will tell you this, it is okay for you to go to therapy in addition to, like, it's okay for you to go to therapy in addition to church and praying and asking God to help you alleviate the pain or stop the pain. And wow, as long as you are alive, you will feel, excuse me, you will feel pain. Like I said, hurt, sadness, happiness, you will feel all of that. Um, you will be mindful. You'll be more mindful. It won't hurt as much. It won't make you angry as much because you understand. You understand as human beings, people are going to do fucked up shit. People are going to be loving. People are going to be like it's all based on how a person was brought up, what the environment the person was brought up in. Um it's so many different factors. So if you keep in mind the factors, y'all see, I didn't look for a long time, and then I thought at the corner of my eye, I saw it moving. It didn't move though. Um, but if you take that in consideration and you understand humanity, like we are not perfect. Anyone striving for perfection, I hate to let you down here. I hate to hate to be the bearer of bad news. I really don't, because I just like keeping it real. You will never be perfect. You can go and get reconstructive surgery. You can go and get everything you can to try to be perfect. You still won't. You will still lack somewhere. So now that we got that out the way, the reality of it is you are human and you are going to feel, regardless of how much you try to shut your feelings off. And that's something that we have become accustomed to, especially in the Black community, is turning our feelings off. In actuality, you can't do that. You might turn that feeling down, but you can't turn it off because it's still going to be there. Like I said, it's one thing to come to YouTube, it's one thing to be in real life and turn up and do all of that, but when you go in your house, when it's just you and your kids, or it's you and the person that you're with. You know you don't really want to be with them, but you're with them because they help you pay your bills, they take care of the kids, or they just got bomb sex. Whatever it is while you with them, you know that that's not really what you want to do. You know that's not how you saw your life, but you're settling. That's another form of, I'm just saying things are mental illness, but for me, it is. It's like something happened in your life where you don't feel like you deserve better. Someone said, how do you feel like everybody deserves better? If everybody is getting better, then who gets worse? I was like, why does people have to get worse? Why can't we all just live better lives? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like people just deserve better. I was telling someone, they was like, hey, are you ready to date? And I was like, no, I don't think I'll be ready for another 2 years. And they was like, what you mean? Like you're, and I was like, because there's some things that I want to like do for myself. There's some things that I want to process, some things that I want to let go, some things that I just want to just like explore for myself. And I want to do that by myself. Like if someone comes and we vibing, it is what it is. When if well, mm, y'all know what I'm saying. Someone then yeah, I'm gonna rock with them, but I'm gonna be, what am I gonna be? I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be truthful and tell them. And then I'm gonna learn their love language, and then we're gonna go from there. But and there's so many things I want to do. Like when I was like, I don't have boundaries. What do you mean I don't have boundaries? I have boundaries. Name one. And I was just like, mm, oh, that's what that is. I'm supposed to have. The reality is, I didn't have any boundaries. I didn't. In my mind, I thought I did because I was like, oh, yeah, I really love myself, but I didn't. Somebody would call, I would just lay down at 8 o'clock in the morning. Somebody would like, hey, I got to be at work at 9. What am I doing? Getting up, getting dressed to go take them to work at 9, before 9 o'clock. Sometimes not getting gas money, sometimes not getting a thank you, sometimes hearing them complain about the job all the way to the job. No boundaries, going above and beyond for other people, but not giving myself that same energy. But guess what I'm doing for the rest of 2021 and beyond? Giving myself all the energy. And I've been doing that. I know if you've been watching me like from January to like June, July. No, I'll go as far as to say July, August. I was going strong with everything. And then June, it was like my birthday. And usually when my birthday comes around, I go through a whole process. It's like a whole process of like shedding the old to taking on the new. And then as I was going into 41, it was like, you don't love yourself. You don't respect yourself. Life was going in on me. Life. And I was just like, disagreeing and trying to prove my point. And in reality, it was like, oh no, I don't. Like I almost died multiple times in my life. But you think I took the time and press pause and be like when I was literally, I could not move, I could not speak, I could not blink, I could not do anything. I just, it was tough. And I thought to myself, like, where do I sleep? Like if you think about this, right? Like you have a bed. Maybe you sleep in your bed. Like, do you fall asleep in your game room? Do you fall asleep in your living room? Where do you fall asleep at? Like, have you ever just laid in your bed and looked up at your ceiling? Like, have you ever just walked outside and watched the squirrels or the rabbits or the deers or whatever animals you have in your area just like move? Like, I thought one day I was just like, you know what? People be going so with the hustle and bustle. And you ever watched a squirrel? Like, a squirrel can run across the street 15, 20 times and never get hit. But it's that one occasion that you see a dead squirrel on the side of the road and you be like, oh, that squirrel must that squirrel must have been sick, or that squirrel must have was trying to save somebody else. Because I've never seen a squirrel get hit because they move really fast. Or like the birds, like I be seeing red and yellow birds all the time, and I be looking them up because I be trying to see like how I've never seen a cardinal or robin, whatever it is. I had never seen one before I moved to this house, and I've never seen a yellow bird. So, I mean, you saw them in like the history books or the bird books, but I never like seen them. Like, I'm sitting right here and the bird just flies and sit in front of me, and I'm just like, well, what the is going on? And the birds, they eat. Like, where do they go? Where do they go at nighttime? Where do they go? You see them all during the day and they getting the food or whatever, but where do they go at nighttime? Do they got a house? Like, they go back to the crib and play PlayStation 5? Like, how do where do they go? I think the only thing they worry about is dying at the hands of a human or being eaten by a human. Like, a lot of I don't know. I just be thinking I have been thinking about a lot of things, and I definitely thought like, what do I want my legacy to be? That's what I've been thinking about lately. Like, what do I want my legacy to be? Like, even here on YouTube and Twitch, what do I want people to know me as? I want you to know me as somebody who was open and honest and shared her life so that you would know that you're not alone. Like, she shared music, she shared, oh, wait till y'all see what I'm gonna start sharing in October. I'm sharing everything just because I want you to know that you are not alone. I said if I'm gonna do YouTube moving forward, I'm just going to be honest, truthful and honest, and I was gonna show y'all the hardships. I'm gonna show y'all all of that. Cause my life ain't peaches and cream. I don't think I will really want my life. Like, I'm the type of person where I feel like if somebody gave me $100,000, I'm really well. I'm gonna say back in the days, if somebody would have gave me $100,000, I would have been spent that. And not on just like purses and cars and shoes. Like, I would have been spent that. I would have bought like apartment buildings, a laundromat. I definitely would have had a food truck. But now it's just like, you know what? I would buy land. I would buy a lot of land. Land. Land is what I would buy. I wouldn't buy a house. I would inquire about the land in which the house sit upon first, and then I'll buy the house. I'm thinking more like land. I want to have land. Like, even when I was think in aspects of my business, after I let go of I don't want to my business to be great because then that means the people around me. And now I'm looking at the people around me and they starting their businesses and they're doing all these different things. And I'm like, okay, it's time now. It's time. So I'm looking at my business and I was like, well, how do I want to help? And I'm looking at artists and I'm just like, every artist since the beginning of time has said the music industry is the biggest ripoff. Everyone, everyone, even ones that was really successful, Prince and Michael Jackson, said how the music industry is the biggest ripoff. And then I'm sitting here like, hi, I'm trying to show you how to get money for the music that you create, but you're too busy trying to get a record deal. Who's going to rip you off when you can own everything that you do and get paid, get the money for it? And all you have to do is activate your fans, talk to the people. You see, like I'm talking to y'all, that's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. And me, it's easy for me. It's really not easy because I was uncomfortable in front of a camera. But, when you do YouTube for 4 years, you kind of get comfortable in front of the camera. I wasn't comfortable with this live situation, but like to say I'm pretty comfortable right now. I'm pretty comfortable with the sound of my voice. I'm pretty comfortable with having conversations. I'm pretty comfortable, especially talking about the tough subjects that nobody talks about. Like, people not talking to you about mental health. If they are, it's like, oh, you need to go and get this. No, I'm talking to you like, listen, if you've been in the bed sick or not sick, if you've been in the bed crying, eating Ben and Jerry's or Netflix and chilling, and you know, like, hey, you haven't really done anything. Sometimes you don't even shower. There's something going on with you. Call somebody. Call somebody you know that you could talk to them and they won't be like, damn, I went through the same thing, get over it. Like that's the going thing for people to be like, get over it. The reality of it is there are so many people that haven't got over it. Your mama, your daddy haven't got over the shit that your grandma allowed to happen to them. And it's just a cycle of generational curses. That's how we're able to label these things. Like we're able to label them, but we don't do anything to stop them. I want to encourage you to change that. I want to encourage you, if you feel like you are not okay, to go to therapy. I know Jesus is omnipresent, omnipotent, and he can do all things. I know that. I trust me. I read all 66 books. I understand all of the analogies. I got all of that. However, sometimes in life we need more help. We need help. We don't like to acknowledge that we need help. I will be the first to tell you if I need help. I'll come here and be like, hey, y'all, I told y'all, I am not okay. I don't know when I will be okay, but I'm going to take y'all on this journey with me and y'all going to see. And y'all know how I started. And y'all going to be with me as I end. And I appreciate all of the love and the support that y'all continue to this very day to show me. I appreciate. I appreciate you coming and hanging out and chatting and talking like time has been here for a minute, and I literally missed time. I don't know if you're still here. I definitely missed you. I was trying to find you. You used to pop up on my TikTok. I was trying to find you. Like, okay, now I know this is her name. Where is she? I don't know, but I be trying to check on my people. Like if you subscribe or you follow, I definitely, drop you a whisper if you on Twitch. I definitely would find you on social medias or find you on if you subscribe to me on YouTube. I definitely find you and I definitely call you, talk to you, chat with you, DM you, whatever I need to do. I'm gonna make sure that you're good because once you become a part of my community. You are like real life community, like you real life family. I be saying y'all my YouTube family, but y'all family to me, like real life, because we are y'all here. Like a lot of y'all come in here and tell me what y'all going through, and I just share me. Like I'm an open book. People be like, "Oh, I got skeletons." I don't got no skeletons. I put it all out on the table. Either you gonna love me for who I am, or you gonna be like, "Oh no, she too fucked up. I'm gonna move on. Swipe left, swipe right." Either way, I'm cool with it. I know I'm not gonna be good for everybody. I know that. I know there's a lot of people that's gonna, rock with me. Either way, I know that. It's not gonna change me. It's not gonna stop me from telling my story. Because at the end of the day, I think if more people of color or more people, period. I know I'd be talking about people of color a lot because I'm black and I cultural sensitivity as I sip my tea. Mm. I want to I want to destroy the stigma behind going to therapy and getting assistance with mental health. Like, I would rather you know that I am not okay so that you can pray. If you like, you pray, or if you send me a message of love, if you don't even do anything but send me a heart emoji, the fact that you did that. I also want to encourage you, if someone falls on your heart or your mind, message or call them. That is so important because you never know why. You ever had an experience where you were supposed to, somebody was like, you was doing whatever. You could be playing a game in the bed, sleep, and have a dream or whatever, and you wake up and be like, I should call them. I'm going to call them later. And then you hear that something happened to them. And it's like, damn, I should have called them. Call them. Call them, text them. You know what? Do one better. FaceTime them. Messenger, TikTok, everything has FaceTime capabilities, or even if it's not FaceTime, if you're on an uh, Android. If you're on an Android, I don't know what you guys have. Well, now with the 15 update, you could FaceTime or you could be a part of the FaceTime conversation. But reach out to people. If you know somebody in your family is not taking this whole pandemic, this whole situation well, reach out to them, talk to them, have a serious conversation. a serious one, not just, hey girl, what up, bro? How you doing? Like, have a serious conversation. Like, we need to have more serious conversations. Like, parents, I don't know if you just like, oh, well, they just kids and it's not really affecting them, but they really are being affected by this whole, like, think about the kids, like graduating, walking across the stage, going to prom, going to all of those things. The kids in 2020, 2019, 2020, early part of 2021, many of them missed out on that. Senior proms, many of the kids missed out on that. Going to college, starting their first semester, like many of them missed out on that. Like, so the kids that missed out on that. Sorry, y'all. That was a lot. I'm sorry. Like, Cameron's 3. My nephew turned 3 today. And I thought 2019, I was on a cruise for his birthday. 2020, we had the quarantine, the shutdown. And this was the first year I was able to celebrate his birthday with him. And that meant the world to me. Like, he was up to the wee hours in the morning. I didn't keep him up. He was just hanging out with me. And I was just looking like, dang, you are really 3. And I've really watched you grow from like 0 all the way up to 3. And he's changed. It's just amazing to watch kids grow. It's amazing to watch them grow. Like, I know you probably like, that's just a kid, but if you ever watch, like, if you ever cried, right? If you were a parent and you ever cried and your child came to you and they like wiped your tears or said it's gonna be okay or anything like that, if that didn't touch your heart, like, that's like, hmm, that's love. That's love in its most purest form. So when people do things to kids, like molest them or rape them or things like that, it doesn't sit well with me, because then you alter the way that they see life, and then now they have to adjust to something that they never asked for, and now they will go the rest of their life trying to figure out why did it happen to them, or it's a lot. It's a lot. If you can look at your life, I am a musician, music artist. You know what? I have to remember to go onto my Twitch and change the settings. Thank you, Tony, for messaging me, because I just thought about that. It said music, but it's not music. It's actually um it's actually that. I am a music artist though. I do make music. I do have music available on streaming. I do have all of that. See, normally I would just be like, uh, yes, I am. I'm actually going to come back on later, in a couple of hours. I usually come on really late because that's like my creative times. But I am doing music related things a little later. I want to come and make some music. Um, Uh, yeah, so you should, hit that purple button and follow me. I do follow back. I do check out live streams. I do all of that. I'm not just a follow for follow or subscribe. I'm not one of those people. I actually do watch the full and comment and be engaging in the chat. I do all of that. Um, Sorry, I was changing my thing. I have to remember to do that. I have to remember because it says music. Oh, I'm definitely going to be going on before 10 or around 10. I'm thinking like around that time. So definitely, you come on back. I'll be here. I'm going to end this one though, and then I'll be here, and then I'll make sure to put what I'm doing. But yeah, I just wanted to come. I appreciate you for, stopping by, Tony. I appreciate that. Um I just want to come and talk about mental health and let you know that there's nothing wrong with having um anxiety or depression or anything like that. I know people will try to make it seem like it is. Oh, you should just get over it. You should just move through it. You should just blah blah. I am Central Standard Time. Um but the reality of it is that that's what people are accustomed to. People are accustomed to throwing it in the back of their head or taking a drink or popping a pill or doing whatever they do or doing whatever you do to cope with your life. And I want to encourage you to get some help. Get some help so that you can be better. If you are a parent, get some help so that you could be a better role model for your child. Like people get mad at celebrities because they live their lives, and then it's like, oh, the kids are watching. Like, there's a whole thing like, is there a gay agenda? And I'm just like, well, who made that? Like, who was just sitting around one day and was like, hey, there's a gay agenda. They're trying to emasculate the black man, or they're trying to do this, and it was like, don't y'all think that that stuff was happening? Like, they've been doing that since the dawn of time. Like, you don't remember slavery? You don't remember where they were saying like buck breaking, and you don't remember that? And then I started, was like, hold on. Why is it a gay agenda, but like there's no heterosexual agenda? Like, these are so many questions I just be having. Like, parents was like, that people was all up in arms, like, oh, little Nas X going, watching little Nas X slide down a pole is gonna turn my child gay. And I was just thinking like, that's strange, because I know a lot of people who grew up in households that, and they're gay, but it wasn't, you wouldn't have never thought these people was gay because the household they grew up in. But it's like, that stuff doesn't, like, I don't know if you believe it or not, but people are really born gay. And some people who you probably be like, because my friend wasn't gay when we was growing up. She or he was definitely gay. They just didn't want to be gay because of the family. Like, you would, there's a word. I will never say this word. I will never utter it past my lips. I won't do it because it's a derogatory term, especially when it comes to young men. Um, do you hear what people say about gay people? Why would I want you to say, like, that's why I was like, you know what? It was difficult for a lot of people that I'm around to like come out the closet and just live their lives, because it's like there's so much to it. So do you probably think like, oh yeah, it's just rainbows and sunshines. I mean, it is rainbows and it is sunshines. But it's not as easy as you think, especially if you are a person of color and you grew up in church and you're gay. Woo-wee. Don't be a person that grew up in church, a person of color, and a black male. Ooh, ooh. I mean, life is hard. Life is hard, period, especially during this global fucking pandemic. But when you add all of those things, and then I was just thinking, like, why don't anybody have any objections when there's like gay cartoons, like straight cartoons? Like, oh, he got a little boyfriend, he got a little girlfriend. But then when you see a little gay person, I'm not saying it like that, but you see a gay person on the cartoon, it's like, oh, they trying to change the agenda. But your kids can watch all the shows, can sing WAP all day, and you have no objection to that. Then somebody do something gay, and it's like, ah, now you're trying to turn my kids. But then you out rapping about treating women like pieces of shit and all that stuff, and nobody has an objection to that. Like, that's why it's I'm talking about this, because it's a part of mental health, whether you believe it or not. It's like mental conditioning. Like, you grow up in a household, it's like cool for you to be, have a lot of chicks, or it's cool, like it's cool for guys to be with a lot of girls, but it's not cool for girls to be with a lot of guys, because then she get labeled as so many different things that we teach kids that we don't probably look at it, and we're actually teaching kids, like parents who don't like kiss or hug in front of their kids, but all they see you do is yell and argue. Like, you're really fostering into your child what it's like to be in a relationship. You probably don't think about it like that, because you're like, they're just kids, they're not watching. Like, When you told them that their father's going to come and get them and they're waiting at the door and then the father never comes and then they grow older and then the father comes and be like, hey, it was your mama's fault. And then you're a child and you're thinking like, no, but you are a grown ass person. So you could have reached out to me at any time. You knew where I went to school. There is fucking social media right now. It's so many different things. And then you have to throw in religion in there. You pray about it and it's going to change. Like, you get money. Like, this is my thing. Like, you get money and you have enough money to pay your rent, but then you pay your tithes first and then you're like, oh, God is going to pay my rent. But then it's like God gives you free will and he gives you sense it's not common, which is also known as common sense. And then common sense will tell me to pay my rent, and Jesus understands how much money I make, so I will give my 10% in time to the community or give it. But it's so many different interpretations. There's so many different things. But the thing of it is, and then there's guilt and shame. And, you in a relationship and you cheat or you do some fucked up shit. And instead of you acknowledging the fact that you did the fucked up shit, you just gonna roll with it. And we get so accustomed to fucked up shit that we just roll with it. Like, you know what? I deserve to be in the space that I am because I did some fucked up shit. Okay, stop punishing yourself. Okay, you did some fucked up shit. Accept it, acknowledge it, accept it, and adjust. When do we learn that? Like, when do people teach accountability? I think that has something to do with all of this ties into each other. Whether you believe it or not, it all does. It all does. It's so many things I just be want to talk about. But starting October, next Sunday, we're going to start with healing and how to heal and how to let things go. Because I feel like I talked a lot about, just acknowledging or calling out the different things that people experience, like molestation, family traumas, talk about those things just to make sure that you're aware of them. But now we're leaving 2021, about to go into 2022. I want you to be good. If you've been living the same life, I say this a lot. If you've been living the same life you was living before 2020 hit, the global fucking pandemic hit, and you haven't thought, let me adjust, let me change, let me grow, let me do something different, where have you been? What have you been doing? I know you're probably like, what? Well, that's you. Not everybody is like that. I guarantee you, when they shut everything down, you sitting up there like, how I'm gonna make money, how I'm gonna pay my rent, how I'm gonna make sure my kids eat, how I'm gonna be good. Guarantee you it's like that. And then so, my family was like, people got lazy when they started getting all this money. I was like, no, people was lazy before they started getting all the money. That just helped them be more comfortable in it. If you sitting around waiting for somebody to give you a handout, it's like that you could be doing better, but you would rather just settle for where you are. Like, if you know that the people you hanging out with is not going to encourage you to go further than where you are, you only hanging around with them because you're comfortable there. If you are still in your fucking comfort zone in 2021, where there are multiple variants, there's the COVID breakthrough. What the fuck is that? If somebody know what that is, please tell me what that is. There's variants. There's a mu variant now. First, it was a Delta. They didn't even talk about the Lambda. Now it's at a mu. Mm. Then it was like, get the vaccine, you won't get COVID. And now it's like, you get the vaccine, you get a milder case of COVID. And then I was like, okay, I was going to go get the vaccine. And then they were like, oh no, if you had COVID, you can't get it for 90 days. And it was like, thank you for telling me that. But I didn't find that out from a medical professional. I actually found that out from just reading. So if you have COVID or if you had COVID, make sure that it's 90 days after. And I'm not a medical professional, but you definitely want to research that. Don't just go and get it real right away, because they said there's something that makes it. I don't want to be sick again. I'm congested right now, but I don't want to be sick again. I'm gonna go in there and turn on my humidifier with the lavender oils and let that blow and sit in front of that, let that steam. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I don't want to be sick again. I don't. I don't. Too much shit just happened to me in my life, and I don't want to be sick again. I don't ever want to experience that ever. I don't want anybody I know to experience it. And for me, I would rather say I am not okay, and then y'all come in here and we have a conversation. Y'all, hey, Chelle, what's going on? Why? and we talk about it. Talking helps me. I don't know what helps you, but talking helps me. I'm going to tell you what doesn't help: alcohol, sex, and drugs. They don't help. You might think that they do. They might be temporary passes, but they don't. Because when you come down off that high, when you done, getting to that climax and the alcohol wears off, you feel shittier than you did before you went into that situation. So I want to encourage you to get to the root of the problem or the root of the situation. Get to the root. Get to the root. That's going to be my motivation Monday. Get to the root. That's gonna be my motivation Monday. Get to the root. People not telling you that. Like your family will tell you, "Oh, Uncle Pete molested me and everybody else in the family," but we all knew that he was molesting people, but we didn't do nothing. Who's gonna be that one person and be like, "Fuck that! Uncle Pete done destroyed too many people's lives. Let me call the people and tell them what Uncle Pete did." And then you got the people in the family like, "No, don't do that to Uncle Pete, because Uncle Pete be at the barbecue at the reunion. He be on the barbecue grill, and he make the best barbecue." Or it's always an excuse. No, families be fucked up too. Families need to get that work too. I be encouraging all my friends, like, if you feel like your mama didn't do a good job, you tell her. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's about making sure that you good. Your mama, she done raised you to be the age that she is. Like, I know it wasn't hard for my mother to hear that I felt abandoned by her. I felt that she rejected me. I know that wasn't hard. That wasn't easy for her to hear that. Cause then that triggered things in her. Like, I did the best that I could, or she didn't say none of that stuff. But like, that's what parents are gonna do. They're gonna hit you with that. I did the best that I could, and there was no handbook, and try to flip it back on you. But the reality of it is, if we stop being defensive and actually listen to what someone is saying to us, it can help us. Like, it can help restore families. Grandma, you noticed your son was out here touching people. You didn't do shit about it. Grandma, oh, I was praying and I thought, at the end of everything, what are we gonna do about it now? Like, I know that you know that I know. What are we gonna do about it? Are you gonna get your son some help, or like, what you gonna do about it? Me, I ain't going for it. The moment I hear, I don't even care. It could be mother, father, sister, brother, cousin, auntie, uncle. I don't even care. As someone who suffered from molestation, who still to this day at 41 still has moments where it's just like, I'm triggered. And that's something that I know. Like, it doesn't go away. It might get less. It might be lessened. Might not have as many triggers, but it's still going to be there. Like smells, it's still going to be there because it's something that happened to you. It doesn't magically disappear. It's something that happened to you. Something that happened. Like, it's not going to disappear. No one can take it away. It's going to always be there. You just have to learn to not allow it to take over your everyday mind. Like, it's in the back of my head. I don't walk around like, "Oh, this happened to me, so let me be shitty to you because this happened to me." No, I walk around with compassion and empathy and love for everyone, because we all live a shitty life right now. If they shut the fucking government down again, do you have food? Do you have money put away? Like, do you have disinfect? Do you have toiletries? Do y'all remember how hard it was? Maybe it wasn't hard for you, but it was hard to get tissue and water. Like, necessities. It was hard to do that. Like, people who had it, tissue, like, you can go to Dollar Tree, Family Dollar right now and get 10 packs of tissues for $10. Actually, I don't think they 10. I think it's 12 packs of tissue. 12 packs of tissue for $10. They $5 a piece, right? You can go and get that. But when it was the COVID, like the quarantine, people was selling them tissues for like $20. Like a 12 pack was for $20. People who had water were selling it at a high price. Do you want to go through that again? Did you like go through all of your quarantine food, or like, do you have the proper necessities, the proper things that so that you and your family will be okay? Or are you just thinking like, "Oh, it's not gonna happen. They're not gonna do that again." it can happen. We didn't even think that it was gonna happen the first time. So all my quarantine stuff, I still got in there. I didn't touch that because I was like, yeah, no. Like I said before I had caught COVID, if y'all didn't know, I did have COVID. But before I had caught COVID, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. I caught it on a Wednesday, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the grocery store. I had planned to go to the grocery store on the weekend because that's when I usually would go to the grocery store. And I had planned, but I got sick that Wednesday, and I went down so fast, I didn't even have the opportunity, the chance to go to the grocery store. And so I was in here and I was like, I have nothing. I mean, I have all the quarantine stuff, but I was like, I really have nothing. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking. Like, I had water, like I had stuff, but I didn't have like stuff to carry me through because remember I was gonna go to the grocery store and I was just like, oh, I never want to have that. I never want to have that feeling again. I never like. It don't take me a couple of times to bump my head out. I just hey. I got water. I got fruits, vegetables. I'm going back to juicing this week. It's been tough. Like I didn't have an appetite. It's been tough. Like tough. Yeah, I didn't stream, I didn't do anything. It was definitely tough. And I just want to encourage you to take care of yourself, whether that's being vaccinated, taking a test, wearing your mask, whatever you need to do to take care of yourself and not just yourself. Let me say this because sometimes people forget that they go home to a house where you might not get sick, but the people in your house get sick. Take care of yourself. Think about the people around you because it might not affect you the same way it affect them. Like I was saying today, like people don't know that kids are getting COVID too. And that's why I'm saying, like, if you're a parent and like your child is like, you probably just think your child is being lazy. No, you probably need to go in there and check them, check their temperature. Now make sure you wear your mask and stuff, check their temperature and stuff because kids are getting it too. Like, I was watching a documentary on the Spanish flu. Um, from 1918, I think it was, and they was talking about how many waves of the Spanish flu it was. And then the other day they was like, "Hey, you know the number of people that have died from COVID is the same number of people with the Spanish flu." And I was like, "Hold on, wait a minute." And then I was like, "What wave are we in?" Yes, I was comparing the two because history repeats itself sometimes, all the time, a lot of the time. And I was just like, "Oh no, oh no." Like people was like, "Are you gonna go?" Like I wasn't going to go to the Dells like they had asked me, and I was like, "No, I'm not gonna go." And then a situation happened, and I was like, "Well, I don't want y'all to like not have to cancel or anything, so I will go." And I went, and I just solidified that I'm not ready to be outside just yet. I'm not. I'm not. I have found safety in the comfort of my dwelling. I don't have to worry about people open air coughing or sneezing in their hand and then trying to shake your hand. And it's like, I just watched you sneeze in your hand and you didn't sanitize your hand. It's so many different. Listen, I'm going to tell you, you be thinking about everything doorknobs, carts, everything. I wipe everything down. But I just want to come and talk about mental health. I know you're probably like, you talked about yourself. It's because I don't want to be like you. I feel like it's more um it's more easier to get people to talk when you talk about yourself. Cause something I say or something that I've experienced, maybe you could relate, maybe you can't, or maybe someone around you have experienced it, and then you just be like, she said some real shit. I know I need to go to therapy, but I didn't know what kind of therapy I need. Like, hey, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I went to the first therapist, and he's like, "Oh no, you need a lot more intense therapy." When I'm laughing now, but when I told him like, I didn't even get to like the meat of it. Like, I just started at like what was happening. He was just looking at me like, how are you? How? hmm, like how, and he kept doing that, and I was just like, excuse me, I don't know. I definitely don't know. I definitely don't even know how I'm able to walk and talk right now. Some people would say God. I would say, sheer determination. It's a lot. It's a lot. I definitely know. Like, I've always been one of those people. When you say I can't do something, I'm definitely going. I'm definitely gonna show you. You talking to the wrong person, because don't let me figure it out. Like, I was like, don't let me figure out how to go live and I can have the people chat and I can bring the people in. Don't let me figure that out. And I figured it out. And that's what I've been doing. Don't let me figure out how to do this podcasting thing and what I need. I got a podcast. I'm trying to tell you, like, I'm a reader, I'm a thinker, I like to talk, I like to network, I like to do all of that, because if there's something that I can't figure out and I know somebody who can, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna talk to you. We gonna make it work. I will never sit back and struggle in silence. That's what I wanted to say. Break the silence. Don't struggle in silence. It's 2021. It's so much help out here. It's too many people that's willing to help you, that's willing to talk to you. I'm one of them. If you want to talk, my social medias are all on the screen. I'm down to talk to you. Now, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a medical professional, but I will tell you this: sex, drugs, and alcohol do not. They only mask for the temporary time. And then when those things are gone, you have to still deal with the shit. You could do it every weekend, you could do it every day, but guess what? The reality of it is it's gonna always be there. Always. That's all I got, y'all. I just want to come and say, break the silence. If you feel like you are depressed, if you feel like anything, call somebody, reach out to somebody. If somebody drops in your heart or your mind, reach out to them, talk to them. There's a reason why they are there. There's a reason. If you feel anxiety, if you feel like you're having a panic attacks, reach out to someone. Seek a medical professional, talk to somebody, do what's best for you. That's pretty much what all I'm saying. You are currently surviving a global fucking pandemic. Do what's best for you. If you know that situation is unhealthy, it is affecting your mental stability, get out of it. If you know that job is causing you so much stress, leave that job. How are you telling people to get out of relationships and leave that job? Because listen, you are currently surviving a global fucking pandemic. If you are living your life that same way, you know that you deserve better and you're just settled, you're complacent in where you at. Get out of that. Get out of your fucking comfort zone. Listen, you own the keys to your comfort zone, so you could go back in there at any time. But right now should be the time where you are testing life outside of your comfort zone. Don't settle. Get help. If you know that you need help, get help. Remember that it is important for you to use your words. That is the only way. The only way. I know there are some people who have psychic capabilities that can read your mind and all that stuff, but using your words is the only way that people will know what you are feeling and what you are thinking. And that is the only way that they can respond to that. If you never tell your significant other how you like to be loved or how you like to be touched or what happened to you in your life, they will never know that. You can't go into something assuming that people know, because you make an ass out of you and me. Anyways, I will never let a live or a video go out without me telling you to love yourself, know yourself, trust yourself, and just be yourself. Again, friendly reminder, you are currently surviving a global fucking pandemic. I am grateful to say that I have survived my bout with it. I am grateful to say that. You should be living your best life right now. Time, can you send me a message if you are still on TikTok? Send me a message. Um, if no one has told you in the first 9 months of 2021, this is the last week of September, you should make this the best week of your life. There's going to be multiple best weeks, but you should make this one the best week of your life in September on a high note. So the next 3 months of 2021, you can go to infinity and beyond. I'm gonna say that for Cameron for his birthday. You can go to infinity and beyond. If no one has told you in the first 9 months of 2021, I will take pride in being the first to tell you. I love you. I believe you. If you have everything, everything that you need to be successful right up in here and right up in here. It is time for you to activate that. If you know that you have been crying a lot, if you know that you have any other symptoms of not being okay, seek help. It is nothing wrong with getting help. Get help. Break the silence. If your family is telling you just to break the silence, if you've thrown it on the altar multiple times, get some help. Jesus will be okay with you going to therapy. Get some help. You know what time it is. If you don't know what time it is, I suggest you watch the Finger Sweetie because they will tell you. Until next time, stay tuned if you're on YouTube. Make sure you hit that red subscribe button. If you are on Twitch, make sure you hit that purple follow button. I am gonna come back a little later and make some music because I'm feeling creative right now. But until next time, peace.